What if civilization is far older than we think? Humanity loves stories. We tell them to make sense of the world, to stitch scattered fragments into a coherent timeline. One of the grandest stories we've told is the story of civilization itself, the tale of how wandering bands of hunter-gatherers slowly learned to farm, built villages, then cities, invented writing, and eventually became what we are today. According to the mainstream narrative, this process began roughly 10,000 to 12,000 years ago, during the so-called Neolithic Revolution. But what if that story is incomplete, or even wrong? What if civilization is far older than we think? What if beneath our feet, buried under desert sands, ocean waves, or jungle canopies, lie the forgotten remains of cities that predate recorded history by tens of thousands of years? This question isn't just about archaeology, it's about identity. If civilizations rose and fell long before Sumer, Egypt, or the Indus Valley, then our entire understanding of human progress must be rewritten. We may not be the first advanced society after all. We might only be the latest in a long, fragile cycle. The conventional view offers comfort. If civilization began only 10,000 years ago, then humanity has been on a steady, almost inevitable trajectory. Cave dwellers to farmers, farmers to kings, kings to scientists, scientists to astronauts. This paints us as pioneers at the cutting edge of progress, steadily improving with no one before us to rival our achievements. But deep time is rarely so simple. When you look at the fossil record, Earth itself is billions of years old. Life has existed for over 3.5 billion years. Mammals have been around for 200 million years, and anatomically modern humans have walked the planet for at least 300,000 years. That's an enormous span of time. Yet, we're asked to believe that civilization only bloomed in the last 3% of human existence. Doesn't that seem suspicious? Archaeology has uncovered anomalies, enigmatic sites and artifacts that don't neatly fit into the standard story. Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, for instance, is at least 11,600 years old, a monumental stone temple complex built by hunter-gatherers before the supposed invention of farming. Its construction required advanced knowledge of stoneworking, planning, and social organization, yet it stands thousands of years ahead of schedule. There are also puzzling maps, such as the Piri-Reis map of 1513, which appears to depict the coast of Antarctica free of ice, a view that would have only been possible over 6,000 years ago, long before our known civilizations had developed cartography. And then there are underwater ruins, off the coast of Japan, India, Dwarka, and the Caribbean, suggesting that whole cities may have been swallowed by rising seas at the end of the last ice age. Each anomaly on its own might be explained away, but together they whisper a haunting possibility. Perhaps humanity has forgotten chapters of its own story. Interestingly, myths across cultures hint at lost civilizations. The Greeks spoke of Atlantis, an advanced island society swallowed by the sea. The Hindus wrote in the Mahabharata about great wars fought with weapons that sound eerily like nuclear fire. The Egyptians claimed their civilization was not born in isolation, but inherited wisdom from an earlier golden age. These are usually dismissed as myths, allegories, or exaggerations. But what if myths are memories of real events? After all, oral traditions can preserve information for millennia. Aboriginal Australians, for example, still tell stories of coastal flooding events that align with geological data from 10,000 years ago. If some myths are memories, could Atlantis or similar legends reflect the echo of a real, forgotten civilization? Maybe civilization is not a straight line, but a cycle. Perhaps humans have risen to advanced states multiple times, only to be knocked down by natural disasters, climate shifts, or cosmic impacts. Imagine a global catastrophe, like the asteroid impact that ended the Younger Dryas, wiping out coastal cities, destroying food systems, and erasing 90% of the population. Survivors would return to a primitive state. After thousands of years, all that might remain of the old world would be scattered ruins, mysterious artifacts, and myths. We might already be living in such a cycle, unaware that we are the second, third, or even 10th civilization to rise on this planet. When we think of archaeology, we imagine careful digging, carbon dating, and well-documented timelines. But every so often, something emerges from the soil, or the sea, that doesn't belong. These anomalies aren't just curiosities. They are cracks in the neat story of human progress. If civilization is older than we think, these are the breadcrumbs left behind. Discovered in the 1990s in southeastern Turkey, Göbekli Tepe instantly redefined what we thought possible for Stone Age humans. Dating back to around 9600 BCE, this site predates Stonehenge by over 6,000 years and the Great Pyramid by more than 7,000. Massive stone pillars, some weighing up to 20 tons, are arranged in circular enclosures. The stones are carved with intricate animal reliefs: foxes, boars, vultures, snakes. The precision is astonishing. But here's the kicker. Göbekli Tepe was built by hunter-gatherers long before agriculture or permanent settlements were supposed to exist. How could nomadic tribes, with no farming base or organized cities, muster the manpower and planning needed for such construction? The end of the Ice Age saw sea levels rise over 400 feet, swallowing coastlines worldwide. If civilizations existed near the coasts, and why wouldn't they, their remains now lie beneath the waves. Yonaguni in Japan, Dwarka in India, and ruins off Cuba are among the candidates. If even one proves authentic, it means advanced urban societies existed well before Mesopotamia. Then there is the Piri Reis map of 1513, apparently showing the Antarctic coastline free of ice. If that interpretation is correct, the map draws on sources from a time when Antarctica was ice-free, at least 6,000 years ago. Where did such knowledge come from? Other anomalies abound: the Baghdad Battery, the Antikythera mechanism, mysterious metal spheres in South Africa. The Great Sphinx of Giza may even predate dynastic Egypt by thousands of years if geological evidence of rainfall erosion proves correct. Skeptics dismiss anomalies as hoaxes, misinterpretations, or coincidences, but to brush them all aside is to ignore the possibility that the timeline itself is flawed. What we call out of place may simply be evidence of a deeper past we have yet to acknowledge. History is written in stone, but memory is written in story. Long before people carved monuments or inscribed tablets, they told tales. Myths passed down from parent to child, elder to youth. On the surface, myths may seem like fantasy: gods hurling lightning bolts, worlds submerged beneath oceans, sky chariots blazing across the heavens. Yet what if beneath the symbolism lies something real? Few myths are as famous or as controversial as Atlantis. Plato described a mighty island civilization swallowed by the sea. Was it allegory or memory? And what of the flood myths found in every culture? Noah in the Bible, Utnapishtim in Mesopotamia, Manu in India, flood legends in Mesoamerica and Australia. They sound suspiciously like cultural memories of the sea level rise that ended the last ice age. In India's Mahabharata and Ramayana, descriptions of vimanas, flying machines, and terrible weapons echo strangely with modern concepts of aircraft and nuclear fire. Egypt remembers Zep-Tepi, the first time when divine beings taught humanity knowledge. Mesoamerica remembers people before, builders of abandoned cities like Teotihuacan. Aboriginal Australians preserve oral maps of coastlines drowned 7,000 to 10,000 years ago. This proves oral traditions can preserve truth for vast spans of time. If their stories of floods are accurate, might others also contain kernels of forgotten history? Myths cannot prove the existence of lost civilizations, but they can guide us toward forgotten truths. They are not proof, but they are clues. If advanced civilizations existed long before our own, why don't we see obvious traces? Skyscrapers, satellites, metal highways stretching across deserts. The answer may lie in a sobering truth. Earth is both a cradle and a destroyer. Time, climate, and catastrophe are merciless erasers. Civilizations can rise in brilliance. only to be wiped away so thoroughly that almost nothing remains. We think of our buildings as permanent, but they are fragile. Without maintenance, cities crumble in centuries. In 10,000 years, almost nothing man-made would remain recognizable. Ice ages and warming periods dramatically alter coastlines. Volcanoes and asteroids wreak havoc. Civilizations tend to cluster on coasts, the very areas most vulnerable to flooding. When the seas rose 400 feet at the end of the last ice age, countless settlements would have been lost forever. Earth itself recycles. Tectonics, erosion, and sediment bury or destroy evidence. Only stone monuments have a chance of lasting tens of thousands of years. Even if technology once flourished, it would vanish. Electronics degrade in decades. Metals corrode. Concrete crumbles. Only myths, megaliths, and anomalies endure. Imagine survivors of a global disaster, scattered, illiterate, rebuilding primitive lives. Within generations, knowledge is forgotten. Myths form about gods who once wielded fire. This is not far-fetched. The Dark Ages in Europe after Rome's fall saw knowledge vanish in a fraction of the time. Multiply this across cycles of catastrophe, and the silence of the past makes sense. Perhaps prehistory is not before history, but after it. Post-history, the ashes of forgotten civilizations. If the story of civilization truly stretches back tens of thousands of years further than we believe, the implications are profound. It's not just about rewriting history textbooks. It's about rethinking what it means to be human, how fragile progress is, and what lessons forgotten civilizations might offer us. We've been taught to see history as a ladder. Humans started primitive, then climbed steadily upward. But if civilizations older than Mesopotamia or Egypt existed, history looks less like a ladder and more like a spiral. Humanity may have reached high levels of sophistication before, only to collapse. This changes our narrative from "we are the first" to "we are the latest." Such a realization would humble us. It suggests intelligence and technology do not guarantee permanence. Civilizations are fragile experiments. If lost civilizations existed, what knowledge might they have possessed? Astronomy, engineering, medicine, all may have had deeper roots than we know. We assume we are the pinnacle, but perhaps we are reinventing what others once discovered. Mainstream science resists because evidence is scarce, and extraordinary claims demand extraordinary proof. But science has often resisted ideas later proven correct. Continental drift, deep time, extinction itself. Perhaps this too will follow the same path. Accepting the possibility changes our psychology. We are not alone in time. We are inheritors. That brings humility, but also hope. Civilizations may collapse, but humanity endures and rises again. The ethical implications are clear. If cycles of rise and fall are real, we must learn to break them. Our threats today, climate change, resource depletion, conflict, mirror those that may have undone others. Their silence is our warning. Acknowledging older civilizations would also spark a new archaeology, searching not only deserts but oceans, not only ruins but myths. With LiDAR, sonar, and new technology, the hunt is only beginning. The cosmic perspective is humbling too. Perhaps intelligence rises and falls across the galaxy. Maybe the universe is full not of thriving empires, but of ruins, echoes like us.
The question that began as speculation, what if civilization is far older than we think, has carried us through anomalies, myths, and cycles of catastrophe. By now, one thing is clear. Whether or not a lost civilization once flourished, the possibility itself forces us to rethink who we are. The Earth is an imperfect archive. It erases more than it preserves. Silence is not absence. What remains are echoes. Megaliths older than farming, myths of floods, maps of lost lands, anomalous artifacts. None of these prove, but together they whisper. Why does it matter? Because history is identity. If others came before us, then our existence is fragile, not inevitable. We are not the first. We may not be the last. Our future is precarious. Climate instability, resource depletion, cosmic threats, they echo the same forces that may have undone others. We, too, could be forgotten, unless we learn. The lessons are simple but urgent. Respect nature, preserve knowledge, prepare for catastrophe, embrace humility. Civilization is a fragile flame. There is also beauty in the mystery. Atlantis, Göbekli Tepe, drowned cities, these stir our imagination. Mystery is not ignorance, it is inspiration. It drives us to search, to wonder, to grow. And beyond Earth, the lesson may be universal. Civilizations may be common, but permanence is rare. Intelligence is a spark, not a guarantee. If humanity is only the latest in a chain of forgotten civilizations, then our greatest duty is not to be the last. We must carry forward the flame, honor the silence of the past, and build a future that endures. Because whether or not civilization is older than we think, the truth remains. Civilization is fragile. It depends on us, and its story, our story, is still being written.